Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
How's it going, Hector?
It's going well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to going to England in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. When do you leave?
It's on the 21st, which was meant to be the day when England reopened and everything, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be quite as simple as that now.
Oh,
Predictably,
no.
There's going to be, yeah. So I've still got to do a little bit of a quarantine when I get there, and I've got to have 3 or 4 tests while I'm there and stuff. So
Yeah.
But at least I can go.
Yeah.
I think I can quarantine at my mum and dad's house, which makes it awesome because that's the only reason I was going was to see them anyway. So
Yeah, I feel like it was a little touch and go there for you for a bit, like whether or not you were going to be able to go, or if you did go, if you had to quarantine for a long time and everything. So it's good.
I tell you what, something I've really noticed. I think this would be interesting to people is if you live in another country than your family, it's fine when everything is going well, but it's wonderful when everything's going well because people can go backwards and forwards,
Sure.
Just so when everyone's got a bit of money and everything's going well, you can live in another country from your family. If anything is bad, and we've been through the worst situation, if anything at all is bad, it's terrible because you can't be with them.
You feel so separated from them. I can't even imagine
my grandmother's getting older and stuff. It's tough. So you don't have that connection. You really feel the distance. Then it's I don't usually feel the distance that much.
Yeah.
But this last year I definitely have.
Yeah. Oh no, that sucks, man.
Yeah, but it's it is what it is. There are certainly benefits to living in the US. I love them. All the friends I've made over here and everything. So
yeah.
But anyway, on back to the podcast. We have Daniel Wanda, aka Beat Thief Inc., is coming to talk to us today. How's it going, Dan?
So, gentlemen,
welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
It's an honor.
Oh yeah, man. Well, I know that you were saying that. I love this. You were saying last week. I was sitting in my car and I got a text from you saying. Am I on the podcast? I was just listening to it, and I heard you say I was on next week, and I hadn't realised because I had organised it through someone else, and David Shaw, and
David Shaw.
Yeah,
shout out to David Shaw. We love you, David Shaw.
Somewhere along the line, there was a bit of miscommunication. So you had known that you were kind of coming on at some point, hadn't you? But
he said that there was a possibility that there was an opening, but it wouldn't be for a few months, and that was it.
Yeah, that was 2-3 months ago.
But it's okay,
So I don't know if it was me or Dave or what it was. But anyway, it worked out great because you were listening to it. So.
Exactly. But it was a great surprise, let me tell you. I'm sitting there and whenever you guys post on Facebook, I follow. Yeah. So I watch, every single episode. I've seen them all. And, I've been just thinking about it, it was such a great idea. And actually I was talking to Subculture and people about you and the Culture Shock people about you as well.
Yeah, great.
And how everybody's kind of excited about this. So, you've got a lot of community support out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's something that makes me really happy. And that's all that we want out of this is to just be something useful for people to find more about the musicians in the area. It's a pretty kind of transparent thing we're doing here. We're just trying to help out a bit and give people, a little bit more exposure,
It's long overdue and much needed. So
my favorite part of that whole statement was that he was saying he was listening to the show. Which you heard it here.
It was great. It was a great moment.
Someone is listening to the show.
I heard my name and I'm like, what's going on? Am I dreaming? Is this weird? What's going on?
Mom, Dad, my name's on the radio.
I smoked a bit more than I realized.
Hit you up right away though. I was like, no problem. Oh yeah, figured it out. David Shaw. A shout out to David Shaw. He's a busy guy too. So he's doing a lot for the community himself.
Absolutely.
He promotes everybody and everything, no matter what. It's great.
He's been in touch with me a lot lately since we've been doing this, and he's had such great things to say about it, and he's been so nice about it, and just trying to help out and be involved. And so I really appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Yeah, he got us I guess he works with another podcast for reggae, and he got one of our songs on there, and it won the contest, and they ended up, shouting us out and playing us, and got a couple of hits from that podcast.
So that we've known each other since, I think the first time we met was through Space Coast Ghost, wasn't it? Through you coming round my house years ago.
5 Pound Blunt.
Yeah.
The music video.
Yeah.
I wish you guys could pull it up.
I know,
it was really, we had fun with that.
Yeah, I ended up being the sax player in the music video for 5 Pound Blunt.
It was awesome.
Yeah, those were some fun days, man. And we were just sort of figuring out. It was the thing I liked about recording Space Coast Ghost stuff was we faced the same challenges as we did with Sonic Boom 6, which is how to incorporate hip-hop and kind of dance music elements into a rock band without it sounding incongruous and, not working. And that was like, that was what that whole recording session was about. And I'd had some experience myself in it, not necessarily 100% behind the boards, but just trying to do it in the studio, with Sonic Boom 6. So I knew what what the end result wanted to be, So at least I had a little bit of a, coming from that kind of background, that kind of ska punk meets kind of rap and hip hop and drum and bass kind of thing. That's absolutely where my roots come from. So one of the things, I know we talked about it over the years, in conversations we've had here and there, but what first got you into playing music? What was your first kind of
a long time. I'm actually classically trained since middle school with anything brass. So all the way through high school, jazz, first chair, I probably, if I could get back on, I still have my chops. I still know my finger pickings and stuff, but I never really got back into it. I literally dropped out of high school. I got kicked out first, and then they begged for me back because I had such a high IQ and my grades were really good, and I was going somewhere, they knew it, so they're tried to get me back because they made a mistake, and I was like, you know what?
How'd you get kicked out? I'm so curious.
It's a long story. I had a chain wallet that one of my friends who had passed away, his parents gave it to me. He got killed skateboarding. I guess he got shot, and they gave me his chain wallet. It's like this big, it was obnoxious, long.
One of those 90s kind of
had the ball on it, but it was awesome. It was like leather bound. It was strong, But so I wore it every day. And they tried to tell me it was no, you can't. I've been wearing it for 6 months or whatever, and they're like, no, you can't have that. You could hurt somebody with it. I'm like, you're not taking that off of me. You can't have it. I'll leave. They're like, you can't leave, and it became this whole thing. And I was I've been on my own since I was very young, 15, I believe, 16. Been
Where are
supporting
you from
myself. Originally Syracuse, New York, but we moved to St. Augustine when I was young, I don't know, 5, maybe 8. It's all a blur. Okay. To be honest with you, but I grew up there and was raised there.
It's quite, it's quite, it has a bohemian side to it,
That's awesome, man. Let me tell you, I loved growing up there. It was very eclectic, a lot of mixed, diverse. There's the country, the redneck, the ghetto, the surfers, and then you get the mix of the two. They have their own language, it's surf Nick, oh, bruh. What's up, bruh? Bruh. And you're like, what the hell? It's all right, cool, yeah, you got it, But I love St. Augustine, lots of love. I always go there a lot. I got a lot of friends there. It's cool. I feel like kind of royalty when I visit. Even my family, when I bring them with me, they're like, damn, what's going on? Bills are being paid for, people are coming out, neat. Shaking my hand, giving me hugs and stuff,
cool. You managed to hold on to those those connections from back in the day.
I was in the front page of the St. Augustine Record the year I got kicked out of high school for young entrepreneurs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got it in case, St. Augustine Record, me on the
cool.
front, the right mix or whatever. It had me with turntables, real vinyl, it's cool.
Well, one of the reasons why I was interested in talking to you is because I feel like you and Hector have quite a lot in common in that you're both very diverse in your sort of talents and in terms of sort of media and art and music in general, seem to cover a lot of bases. You both have that in common, and Hector being my bandmate and my friend, and you being my friend as well. People like that, I'm drawn to because it's something that I also aspire to. I don't necessarily do quite as much different stuff all the time as both of you guys do, but it's very impressive. And you have a sort of art and sort of printing business, is that right?
It's it's kind of hard to encase it all into one word. Yeah. I'm a problem solver, really. Right. I've created my own company on the side called A Werewolf Marketing. Okay. And basically, I consult people and make connections. It's funny. I literally solve them. Problems all across the board for whatever you want, from your digital aspects to, how your branding works and marketing, point of sale systems. I literally, if I'll figure it out, and then now I've got that knowledge and I can help other companies. Yeah. And I've got I basically have, I'm partners with a lot of different companies, and they pay me just like a lawyer or something on retainer monthly, So that's kind of like my bread and butter. And one of those companies is WM Printing, and I've become like a managing partner of that company. We've built it from the ground up and turned it into a very beautiful working system. I mean, you should come by and tour the facility. It's amazing. Like 12,000 square foot, and we've got lots of employees and
is that local
machines. Yeah, we're right off of Woolbright in 95, right behind the Lowe's there in the corporate plaza. And I bring by, if you guys want, like, I really like working with musicians and helping them out. So we make T-shirts, full color screens, like amazing. We have a fully automated silk screen machine that has 12 heads, so it does like 1,000 shirts an hour, just pumping them out.
Wow.
Boom, boom, boom,
Right,
boom.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's really cool to watch. So if band shirts, it's good content for social media, and I'll get that for my clients, and I'll get them out there and stuff. But really what I do is I find people whatever they need. Like they literally say, I need a donkey. And I'm like, all right, I got a guy.
Yeah.
Or they're like, I need
like 10,000 flyers in Miami in 3 hours.
I'm landing in New York. I need business cards at my hotel. I'll make it happen. And then on top of that, my art, my design, my logos really is my what I really am passionate about. People come to me because I understand the psychology of marketing and colors and how those colors affect your target market. Sure. So when you want to build your company, you come to see me, and I'll get you your website built. I mean, the best website you'll ever see, the best graphics, the best stock on your business cards, and they just really make yourself shine, and not at a corporate level. And that's really, I kind of only work with, I can pick and choose my clients, and I only work with the local people to try and boost them up, because that's our community, and you build them up, and they hire people in the community that are friends, and I make those recommendations, and we all just build up, and everybody's doing really well. And we survived COVID, man, and based on a lot of my recommendations, I was able to keep a lot of families fed. So that was
fantastic.
That's my story.
Yeah, looking after local people and being involved in local businesses and things is something I really respect, and I think it's a great thing for you to be doing. Getting back to your sort of music though, if you were going to sort of name a few like early influences in your, like, that kind of set you on your musical path, who would you say that they were?
I mean, the list is so long, man.
Yeah, I know. It's actually a more difficult question than it seems like it would be.
It is. I've actually had the honor of working with a lot of the people that are my biggest influences, thankfully enough. But, I mean, off the top of my head, I can start, Dan the Automator, DJ Shadow, Z-Trip.
Yeah.
Anybody from the old school, like original, like hip-hop back in the day,
Sure.
You name anywhere from Africa Bambaataa to, all the old school legends. That, I was kind of raised in hip hop culture, the four elements, and I take it very seriously. Yeah. I really do, and I love the way where it's going, where it's like progressing. But as far as influences, man, it's all over the place. I could be punk rock. I back in the day, like I was in punk bands, like we would do like our own thing. I mean, you're talking Nirvana, you're talking, Rage Against the Machine is always big, of course, and that. And then Sublime, of course, and I've been able to work with the Bradley Foundation, the Noah Foundation.
Right on, man.
And I actually got to meet his son and tour with his son, Jacob.
Really?
He has a really cool band called
When was
Law.
that?
This was Space Coast Ghost days. Back in the day, we did like a Florida run with them.
Oh, cool.
So, and then we also helped with merch for getting rid of hats and stuff like that, it was really cool.
Yeah.
But, those are really, Sublime was really kind of like the biggest push for me, because it really had that perfect blend of reggae, hip hop, punk rock. Yeah. They could run a show and they knew how to do it, and that was inspiring to me, and that really pushed me in the direction I am working now.
Yeah, something about Sublime is they've fallen into, they have this problem where they're so good that it's almost not allowed to like them anymore because everyone does.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And like
exactly.
and when it comes down to it, there's a reason why everybody knows the songs and they've become such a cliche. It's because they were good. They were really good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know that they were definitely an influence on me. I can remember sitting, and listening to them like with my mates at school, and just think it was the coolest thing we've ever heard. Some of the first kind of little bits of like rapping that I ever learned, and and it definitely was a little bit of a door for me into getting into more like more ska stuff or more hip hop stuff, or even like little bits of hardcore on there and stuff. I was like, oh, what's that? And then I found out about like hardcore bands and stuff. Where it goes for all like fast skate punky and I think hardcore might be a bit of an exaggeration with them, but when it gets really punky with the Sublime. So I think Sublime was a first in terms of me hearing things for a lot of different genres of stuff.
And I like hybrid genres.
Yeah,
I like it when they mix it up, and
Yeah.
that's one thing that's kept me back in a lot of growth aspects from my music career. I believe is these cliques of genres. You get in and then and then they see your talent, and then you try and add the other stuff, and you're not all this, or you're not all hip hop, or you're not all breakbeat, you're not all electric, you're not all drum and bass. I love it all, so I like to incorporate it all.
Yeah, I hear that,
and that gives me longevity.
It has plagued me over the years, but it's been a situation with just my making music where at any given time, if anyone's ever asked me like, what is it, I've always been like, even now with Killbillies, I'm like, I don't know really. I don't exactly know what it is. It just is what it is.
Just say Rockabilly's Idago.
Yeah, we were just having that conversation the other day about what do you
come up with some weird name?
What do you we say Americana,
flop.
we say folk, we say Celtic,
and it's not even that unusual. It's just that people like things in boxes, and but it's quite often I'll just say, well, why don't you just listen to it and decide if you like it or not, like
Swamp Water Slap Your Mama Funk. Just say that shit. Yeah, for real. I'm telling you, I'll coin a lot of
your mama funk.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we are.
Mm-hmm.
We could
That's
be that.
right.
Something really funny. I was thinking about this a while back. We had the boys from Spread the Dub on before, and they have that side project, Moonshiners.
I love you, Mick.
And yeah, what's up, guys?
Why every time we bring
I
them up,
remember-
everybody says they love Mick?
I don't know if it
I
came
love
from
all
the
the boys,
same.
man.
I don't know if it came from the same thing, but I remember, got to have been about 4 years ago. You and I were in the back of Propaganda talking, and you said to me, I swear to God, no word of a lie, you should start a band called Moonshiners. It would make loads of money and it's a great name. And I don't know if he's also said that to Mick. I don't know. But I'm just saying that we had that conversation before they existed.
Wow. Okay. There's a lot of stuff like that. Believe it or not, there's a lot of little stories like that. And I wasn't sure if we were going to crack the egg today. But do you guys know the story about Propaganda, right?
Which one? I'm sure there's many.
I mean, Propaganda was my idea originally.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's a huge story behind it. Beyond being the longest running promoter for the club since it's before its opening, it was called Mix Lake Worth. And the original owner had hired me to come in and, DJ and book events and stuff. And I had put on my own money down to put on some big deposits for some drum and bass shows. Right. I had a little sketchbook in my office upstairs, which was where the back room, and then there was a little window, and a DJ booth up there, and you could look out and DJ. It's really cheesy, but it was called Mix, and I had my notepad up there, and I was doing sketches. That's what I did, and I was like, okay, I want to do a drum and bass night called Propaganda, and I had in my sketches, I had eagles and like raised fist propaganda with like fingers pumping with bottles and like old Cold World like red and black, and and it ended up, I guess the owner got real homophobic or something because a lot of gay people were coming to the club. He's like, no more techno. And I'm like, well, I want to do drum and bass. He's like, no, electronic. Oh, we're turning into a punk rock club. And he locked me out. And I had already spent all this money. I made all these promises. And I was literally like on my no money, like almost like, homeless. Thank God for my amazing wife who, was supporting us at the time, could afford to keep a roof over her head. But he ended up changing the club and locking me out. And then I come by one day. And I look up and no shit, Propaganda. And I'm like,
you sons of bitches.
my eagle.
Oh, really?
From my book.
Wow.
The same, copied the whole thing. And so we ended up doing a boycott on the place. And at that point, Steve Rollman was like, they hired him to do the promotions. And there was a lot of beef. It was one-sided. I was just like, boycott Propaganda, and everybody did it. And then, numbers went down. And then, Bobby Love and Cecil Lunsford bought the place, and they came to me and they said, hey, whatever this is, squash it, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And I was like, fuck yeah. So we started throwing drum and bass shows. I mean, I booked everybody from Matrix and Future Bound to
I remember.
Diesel Boy and all that. Like I brought like every major drum and bass artist, and we packed that place out like once a month. And we also brought like really big hip hop artists. Like my first show was Dead Prez. I brought Dead Prez, and we packed that place out. It was amazing. Yeah, so those are my first claim to fames there. The shows that we did.
I love Dead Prez.
So just so you know, where Propaganda that originally came
that's
from
crazy.
this guy right here, and I get to say it on here, so everybody can. There's no more like who did this. This guy, the guy originally owner Robert Blake or whatever I guess his name is. He ended up being a real bad guy at one point. But thankfully, Matt and John, and they continue it, and I got nothing but love, and I will always support things going there forward. So
yeah, I feel like
I
that's
love that place.
Yeah, totally.
yeah, that's my home away from home. Man.
Yeah. And
besides Respectables as
and
well.
Matt is,
too,
Matt's my boy. I've been in a band with him for
I love
years
him.
now, and we
him.
got to know each other really, really well. But yeah,
I'll do anything for Matt.
yeah, me too.
Just like for you,
too.
you know. Like
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
ever call me, just whatever, you know, I got your back.
yeah, man.
Bro pump. You're in that circle too now, bro.
So yeah, the next question I'm going to ask you is particularly interesting because I think a good way of asking it would be in context of your album that you have.
I brought gifts.
Yeah, it's Supervillain Society of the Universe, Earth 4.5.
Yep, the second in the Never-Ending Mixtape series.
Yeah, and it's really cool. It's got a bunch of tracks on it. I've listened to it before, and I also re-listened to it today to remember some of the stuff. It's got some people that I know. It's got Noah on it, Noah Prescott, called Noah, like with a K as one of his rap names, and then it's also got
Tyler
Giddens on it.
Yep.
Yeah, and he was in here about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
Tyler's the homie.
Yeah, a bunch of other people as
A lot
well.
of people, Reggae Lou,
Yeah, Reggae Lou. We need to get him
John
on
Diddy.
here.
Actually, I worked with 12. I think of 12 total, if you not include my family that did the skits and stuff from all over the country during COVID and before COVID. I started this. It was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
I remember, and because when we were in the studio doing Space Coast Ghost stuff, you said to me that you were working on it, and did I want to do some stuff? At the time, I wasn't in a place where I could get my head around it. I had some demons to deal with, but
Of course, yeah.
but hopefully in the future, if there's ever another one, I'll try and climb on it.
I'm really proud of you too, by the way. I wanted to say that live.
Oh,
I told you
thanks, man.
before, but like I've always been watching what's I've seen the bad side and I've seen the good, and I like what I see now.
Appreciate
even though I loved what I saw before, when you're getting crazy, but but honestly, I'm real proud of you, and just so you know, we're behind you. Keep it up. If you need anything, let us know.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I appreciate that. One day at a time, and if anyone out there is struggling with any kind of alcohol or addiction problems, I'm no expert, but feel free to reach out to me. Really easy to get a hold of me.
I also one of my partners is a very local, trusted, holistic recovery place as well. So I have the deeper connections if you need the facility and you want to go through that.
Oh, interesting.
They're called Ann Recovery, and they're amazing people. They do it for the real right reasons, and I vetted them personally.
That's great.
Among all the trash that you see here
But it is very
in the
difficult.
area,
We
these
live-
people you can trust.
Yeah.
So if you do need, I will connect you with someone and you can know that I'll deliver you there if you need to.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
I'll pick you up. I will. So.
Tell you what, that whole thing, you're right that there are some dodgy ones down here, but
It's horrible.
as areas go, at least there's places you can go. Like, I went to one called Florida House. I went to a rehab called Florida House, and they were really good there. They weren't, and there was a side to which felt a little bit like, kind of milking insurance, but in general, like 95%, it was good stuff. I learned more there in like the time I was there than I've learned in like 10 years of my life. Like they just pack you with knowledge,
Yeah,
And
it's
really
great. Well, you got to stay active, and you got to keep there's so much out there. You just got to basically, fill your day with things that are productive and that help you motivate your life to move forward.
Yeah,
you really can't. You can't be at the top of your game if you're drinking or doing drugs all the time.
No.
But you can moderate if you know how to do it. But not everybody's like that. So
Right, exactly.
some people are either all in or they're not. So
Yeah.
We keep them busy, so that's
just know that there's people out there that have been through something like what you've been through, and you can get help. So reach out to anybody, because there's a lot of people willing to help.
Absolutely.
I agree. But back to the music, man.
Yeah, so I
honestly,
was going
with
to ask you.
this album, I'm really proud of it. It's probably one of those albums you can pop in and every song is different. There's turntablism, there's reggae, there's dub, there's acoustic funk.
Yeah.
The song that I wrote with Reggae Lou, actually, Out of This World,
Yeah.
I did on a kid's keyboard.
Oh, that's cool.
I
That's
made
fun.
I made the song on the kid's keyboard, and then we ran it through Ableton and added some cool, really like took the tom and like really enveloped.
Is
the bass and
Ableton
stuff.
the thing that you generally use?
No, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of an analog junkie, but
Right.
for this album, I used about 4 different DAWs.
Right.
So I used some what's the cheap one, Audacity,
Yeah.
to do some degree, and then working with other people when they're sending me stems, man, let me tell you, dropping in and whatever, it's like sometimes hard and things don't talk to each other, but we work through it. And when it comes down to it, most of this came from vinyl. A lot of the beats,
Yeah, great.
and a lot of the samples.
It does have a
came from
very
vinyl.
familiar, in a good way, vibe about it. All the music I was listening to when I was like 18, 19, 20, like Ninja Tune and stuff like that, and people like Cold Cut and like Black Delicious and stuff like that, and
Big
like DJ
influences.
Food and stuff.
Absolutely.
That whole area of music it was my whole thing when I was that age, and so listening to it, you know, it's a combination of just straight up being good, because there's new people, like you say in the intro of it, you know, like Run the Jewels and stuff, who are kind of this kind of arty kind of, you know, arty kind
Shout out to RTJ, but yeah, we kind of poked a little jab there.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty
John
funny, I
Diddy,
thought.
shout out to John Diddy. He's one of the best rappers in the world. I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest with you. He's so good.
There's
he
plenty
has
of
2 tracks on there,
Yeah.
and he rips. I mean, he just blows your mind on that. Did you hear the Led Zeppelin one on there? That
I can't remember it.
there's
I
a
didn't
Led
hear it
Zeppelin.
today.
I mean, I kind of messed around with it tonight, you know, just when we were practicing. But I broke up, you know, one of Led Zeppelin's songs, dun, 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 and they just tore into it, like rapping over it, and we were all like, "Oh, we're gonna get in trouble for this." But it's on Spotify. It hasn't been red flagged yet. Like, I'm just waiting for the day for them to knock on the door and you know take me
Yeah.
outside.
Shout out to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, Jimmy Page.
Imagine if Led Zeppelin listened to this. That'd be well, you know, you're
In
doing
the
well.
album, we actually say, if you get a cease and desist, frame it, like, because it's like,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? I've said that my whole life. In one of the first songs that we sampled with Sonic Boom 6 was Funky Kingston by Toots. And, you know, what we basically said was, you know, there's 2 sides to this story. One is Liam Fikery, who's our manager at the time, knew Toots very well. R.I.P., by the way. You know, very good, terrible shame
of
that Toots
course.
was passed on. But yeah, Liam Fikery knew him pretty well. He'd done a lot of stuff over the years with him, like as a promoter, as a like a tour manager, and as all sorts of things. He helped Toots in the UK a great deal. But so we knew that he, you know, probably be fine anyway, because we had Liam on our side. But the thing we were always used to say with that stuff is exactly if it ever becomes a big problem, you're doing well. It means they heard it. You know, you've got
Doing
like
something
to that. But if you got to the point where it gets back to them, like something's happening. You know.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
the album's doing really well itself right now. We did these viral sticker campaign with this QR code on it. And I literally took the time. I played this festival during post-COVID, kind of pre-COVID, during COVID. And I just slapped them up everywhere and just watched the numbers grow. And now it's doing great on Spotify. I've never seen numbers like this. So I'm really proud of everybody that helped me out, and just want to say thank you guys for listening. And there's more on the way.
It's a great idea. I'm going to steal that idea. I'm going to go on a road trip because we've got cars we made up like that. We could just as easily make up stickers like that and just do exactly that. Go on a road trip.
You got to be smart about them. There's this
Right.
thing like whenever you see a gas station, it's like scan to get motivated. You know, like you replace their scan with your scan. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? You just kind of slap it over there
That's
while you're doing
actually
gas. You know,
genius.
cough and
Guerrilla
slap.
tactics, man. I
But
love it.
yeah, that's old school marketing.
I
Yeah,
took
yeah.
a
Boots
trip.
on the ground, man.
I took
Yeah.
a trip last November up to Memphis to my nieces for Thanksgiving, and we did a lot of the touristy stuff there, and we went to Sun Studios and did a tour. And outside of Sun Studios, there's this like old school mailbox thing. It's like, it looks like it's been there since the beginning of time, and there's like a bazillion stickers, band stickers and stuff on there. So I just slapped a big old Killbilly sticker right in the center of it.
Anywhere you see stickers, slap them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally, man.
Always looking for an opportunity to slap a sticker.
So yeah, we kind of dug into it, but let's explore that a little bit more. But the question I had was, what is your writing process? And by the sounds of things with this album, it's literally what can I do to be creative? You know what I mean? It seems like you would just sort of, you'd find any kind of starting point and just run from there. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. I started with, believe it or not, samples from an old movie in their Deliverance.
Yeah.
And I actually ran, you won't notice it, but there's a sample from Deliverance in every song.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
the birds chirping and the grass and the water flowing and stuff in the background of any song that came from Deliverance.
Oh,
So yeah, so it's funny, like the first song that when it breaks down was actual music, not just the intro. It's like it's that famous song where it's like that part of the Deliverance where he's taking him and he kills the guy. You know what I mean? Because he's about to take his buddy downtown or whatever you want to say. And so I just went with that, like, because as John did, he hit the wrong button inside of the spaceship. So like it literally, and every song kind of, it's mixed into itself too. So if you listen back to back, there's really doesn't stop at all.
Sure, yeah.
And the front and the back is exactly the same. So if you were to actually play it nonstop, it starts the exact same sound on the last. I inverted that, and
I love that.
So that there's a lot of
true
like Easter
concept
eggs
album.
in this,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single one I put something into it. Really, like my kids got on there, like for
cool.
Space Cupcakes, and we did some skits and stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty
So
cool.
do you find that being involved in kind of music and media in general is tough when it comes to how does it coalesce with having kids? How's that?
It's not easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, having kids. Thankfully, I have an amazing life partner and wife, Vanessa, who really does her point and takes care of the kids 100%. And then whenever she needs me, leans on me. Of course, I take over. But I work all day, and I try and find time for the gym, and and then I come home and maybe work on some music if I can. It's usually pretty rare. But when I do dive in, she's completely supportive. So I would say that having support, someone who really believes in and can support and is really important, and I couldn't do it without her.
Yeah.
And the kids are always on board. They want to do whatever, so they love jumping on the decks or, teaching new stuff or going to any of the shows.
How old are your kids?
I've got a 5-year-old and almost 9-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah. Shaidow and Ronan.
So they love just hitting the
Both
buttons.
boys. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've done some teaching, a little bit. Shaidow, actually, excuse me, since he was young, I think he's going to be eventually a piano player or a musician for some reason, but he was playing like crazy stuff when he was like 2 or 3. Like we'd catch him like on the little toy keyboard, like like symphony type stuff. Like I think I have a video, but he loves to mess around, so you can tell it's going to be part of his life at some point. But right now he's all into kung fu.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. Keep him fit at least,
Yeah,
as long as he doesn't start administering it on his fellow schoolmates.
but there's a gentle balance there. You got to give him as much time as possible. And
I hear
make
that.
sure you have time for yourself. It's really important to take time for yourself.
I feel that.
Self-care.
We were just talking about that before the show, about how I keep joining a gym and then not going and then canceling and then joining again because I feel like I need to go and then canceling. And then
They
it's a vicious cycle, man.
They figured out human nature. Those guys, they're robbing us blind.
Oh,
but
God.
I have been recently using my subscription, but for like a year I wasn't. They just have you on the hook like that.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's like $15 a month or whatever, but really. It's like
Well,
if you look at how much you actually go, it's like
I was just going to say
$1,000 a month.
That's the thing. It's probably it's $10 a month most of the time. Some of the ones way back in the day, they didn't have the $10 ones. They were like more like $20 or $30. And if you really calculate all the months of gyms that I've paid over the years and how many times I've actually been to a gym, it was probably like $3,000 a session. I could have had a private person. I mean, because I never went.
Up,
I never went.
Yeah, I feel that, man.
Yeah, cross-reference that with how much you weigh and, deduct the, and now you've got an equation. You need to make a spreadsheet on that one.
Right? No, so... But I was going to say, Ben. Ben likes to ask the guests one of the questions that is, do you practice? But I guess for you, it's a little bit of a different question. I mean, I guess, do you practice? I mean, I guess with the equipment and stuff, do you practice that?
Yeah. I have a studio at the house. I would love to practice more with more things, but I have a full range of equipment, everything from looping station, a brand new looping station, which I'm going to actually get more into doing some live shows because I'm getting really good with it. I've done a couple live videos here and there where I really get into it. It's cool because I do it all in my mouth. Like everything's like a beat or a sound, and then
Oh, you loop it all together.
Yeah, and I'll make I'll redo like the Stones or something.
Really
you know
cool.
what I mean? Like, and it'll sound like hip hoppy and stuff. So I'm like trying to kind of tweak that, and I'm probably gonna bust that out for Love Burn 2022, which I'll be playing down in Virginia Key Beach in Miami. So that's probably going to be one little session I'll be doing. I'm going to do like a meditation.
Like years ago.
We did, that's originally, that's how I got connected there is one of the camps reached out to us and they sponsored us to do the music. And then the next year, it was just like, well, hey, we just wanted to hear all the DJ stuff, not the band stuff. And then, the band, we took a hiatus, So at that point, it was like, okay, come out and bring everything. And then we started involving my friend JT, by the way, which I do want to say I haven't mentioned him at all, but he helped me. He co-produced this with me.
Yeah,
I couldn't have done it without him.
So some of those skits is him.
That's him. Yeah. From JT, right?
I'm not sure.
From the Bastard Sons.
Oh yeah, I do
the
know.
drummer.
Yeah.
He really dove into producing and electronics and stuff like that, and he's created a handle called Def Adept.
Yeah,
which is out. His next album is out right now. It's really a genius album, but ahead of its time for sure. Once people catch on, I know it's going to become like a classic. But he did help with everything on the engineering on this and stuff. Even though all the concepts were mine, he was there helping me record and showing me around the inner workings of Ableton, which I was, I've always been kind of on the cusp about. I'm more of a Pro Tools kind of guy.
Okay.
SoundForge, I like SoundForge and Pro Tools for my recording,
Yeah.
But then he's trying to show me how it works with all the automation and stuff. It's really cool. So
yeah.
Shout out to JT, and he's moving to Georgia. He'll be out of here soon. So
I know that as a DJ, I mean these days all the DAWs are pretty good, but like I know that as a DJ, Ableton is has a very good live side to it, doesn't it? Like a lot of people love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, it's got a great live
I know
side
that
to
Logic you can do that now as well, but I've done DJ gigs, but I've never gone so far as to have like a laptop running Ableton and stuff like that. I've just used Decks, but
well, I mean, if you're gonna do Ableton, you're gonna use a like a pad. You can use a pad controller. Not really turntables, and it's different. You're not really DJing when you're using Ableton. That's more of you're performing. It's more of a musician. Yeah. To be honest with you, DJing is pretty much spinning tunes.
Yeah, sure.
You're doing that stuff that we were doing earlier, or will be doing soon. I think. Yeah. In this time lapse of a blog.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember like way back in the early '90s. I had a friend and a friend of a friend that was gonna throw this huge rager, and they needed a DJ, and I was in a band or whatever, and they were like, I guess at the time they just made that connection, like, oh, you're a musician, you could do it, right? And I was like, sure. Never done it before in my life, and
it's not as easy as you think it's going to be.
But it was so stupid. I had like no gear. I mean, and back then you weren't doing like the laptops and all that stuff. I mean, it was literally like turntables and vinyl.
Sure, yeah.
And I didn't have any gear or anything, so I was like hooking up like my mom's like stereo speakers and like a couple of like old beat up, like they wasn't even just a turntable, it was like the stereo component systems or whatever. Geez, right. Like I had, and I was like, it was terrible. It was the worst thing. And everybody was drinking and dancing and having a good time, and they didn't care. They were like,
off. What's your moniker? What's your DJ name?
It was literally like the one time I did it.
Did you have like the foghorn like?
No, I was terrible.
Into the transition.
Terrible. DJ bad. DJ terrible.
I did it a couple of times years ago with my bandmate Barney and I think then I just went as Ben Boom because that was sort of Sonic Boom 6. He was Barney. He coined the name Barney Boom, and I just kind of went. I was Ben Boom sometimes, and I was that a little bit. And even after when I came here, I was Ben Boom for a little bit.
I like Ben Boom. That's pretty badass.
Right?
I can market that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I can see you like.
And Ben actually Boom. Now,
just nothing but really grimy, nasty Zydeco dubstep. Yeah. Right? Like raw acoustic Zydeco dubstep. That's
the one that I never had the guts to call myself was Sugar Bee.
Yeah, we'll not mention that. No. That's when you're playing disco, right?
Yeah,
just strictly
Sugar
disco.
Bee.
It's got the 10-inch platform shoes with the goldfish in them.
I'm gonna have to refer to you as Sugar Bee the next Kill Billy
I'm
show.
always calling him Sugar Bee. From
when
now
you play the saxophone, I'll be like, Sugar Bee on the saxophone, folks.
When you say something and you wish you hadn't, that just
that would be that moment. In fact, I'm just gonna make you a shirt that says Sugar Bee.
Oh, do it.
I'm going to make myself a shirt that says, I'm with Sugar Bee.
We could sell them right now. Let's do it. 100%.
So, it's really nice to have some people on that aren't just strumming guitars. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because that's what I do. But if we were going to be sort of representative as a local music podcast, I'm glad that we've got some diverse stuff on the show.
Nice
and
change of pace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me out, guys.
It's all good. Well,
it's great.
I guess at this point it'd be great if you'd play us some music. Is that good?
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to play any drum and bass for you though, even though we share that love.
Oh yeah, we do. Let's talk about that.
You got to hear my new one.
You've
by the
written
way,
some?
I've got a brand new drum and bass song out on Spotify right now. Actually, it's funny because it's doing really well on SoundCloud. It's got like 10,000 listens and downloads on SoundCloud, but it's blowing up on. I'm watching. I love these apps. I'm watching it blow up every minute on the Spotify app. So right now, 5 people are listening to it, and I've had 2,500 streams since I put it up there, which is great.
In My Dream.
So yeah, it's called In My Dream. It's great, and I use Lowrider sample, Lowrider. But what I did was I took it all from vinyl. I took old beats from vinyl, and I just put it all together, and really made this drum and bass track that everybody's loving it right now. So, and that's just one of the many that come out. But I know that you love drum and bass.
I certainly do,
so
and me and my brother used to make it when I was younger. He still does. He's got some great stuff. I'll play some of my brother's drum and bass, or I'll send it to you. He slays it. It's not like his main thing, but he's always just been low key really good at it.
I've got
every now and again he'll knock a tune out.
I love drum and bass, man.
Yeah.
It's been that's where my roots are, really underground electronic. Before the jazz and stuff, but I was one of the original promoters for one of the first rave clubs in Florida called Simon's back in the day.
Really?
And I used to pass out flyers and stuff, and that's how I kind of got into marketing and design and stuff like that. And then eventually started DJing.
You have music taste which is a lot more like people in England than anyone else I know here.
100%, yeah. I was listening to Tricky, and you know what I mean? That was my influence, was, European electronic.
Yeah, like the people that, my sort of peer group in England, the kind of music they listen to when they go out and the kind of stuff that they're into is like your music taste. And so, when I met you, it was quite refreshing because I was like, oh, okay, it's not just a completely, there is some crossover. I think it's partly to do with, if I was in New York, I think I'd know a lot more people like that. I think that that kind of like alternative sort of hip hop and kind of just different weird sort of beat crossover stuff is just huge in the UK. And also,
there's a lot of brotherhood
when I was younger. I don't know, even I've been in the US for 10 years, so UK, I could be completely wrong about what people listen to in the UK now. I'm not sure.
They're still doing it. It's a little bit different, but it is everywhere else. It evolves and changes,
Yeah.
And you get the old school heads are just like, oh, it's not like it was back in the day, but it'll never be like it was. You just got to enjoy the moment,
Yeah,
but drum and bass will never die, man. It's one of those things. It was ahead of its time when it came out. It's still ahead of its time now. And like people that really truly understand it, they won't ever give it up. Really, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's got its own genre. You can go anywhere in the world.
Hit and Run Collective out of Manchester. Have you ever heard of those guys?
Oh man,
well, it doesn't matter. I'll show you.
Send me some stuff.
Yeah, the Hit and Run is that.
It sounds really familiar, to be honest.
They put on nights and stuff. This guy called Rich Reason is the guy who does it, and I knew him for when I was a student and long after when I lived in Manchester, and the Manchester sort of drum and bass scene and everything is really still alive and kicking and fine.
They do it up over there. They're original OGs, and give all the praise and respect to them. Honestly, because that's where it came from.
Marcus Intellects.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Sick,
absolutely, man. I do a million shout outs right now, but locally, AK 1200, good friend of mine, Dave Miner. Right. He's always been a big inspiration of mine. Dara, locally. Also, Diesel Boy, of course.
Right. Yeah.
But when it comes down to real drum and bass, I mean, it was really. You remember DJ Hype?
Yeah,
DJ Hype. Just, he would blow my mind. And now these days, actually, have you heard of JFB?
No,
dude, you got to check out JFB's drum and bass. Okay. He does really like that turntablism drum and bass that really just kind of blows your mind, Yeah,
but DJ Hype kind of figured out a way of scratching over drum and bass. It's quite simple, but it works. It sounds good,
He was like the Bad Boy Bill of drum and bass.
Yeah.
He really was. So he was like the master back then. But yeah, I have a mix out real quick on Mixcloud that's it was actually ranked 55 globally for my drum and bass, and it's great. It's like over an hour long, and I just slam through tracks. I mean, there's a track every 45 seconds, like just boom, 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 all the latest stuff, some unreleased stuff, some original remixes hidden in there. But it was funny, I put it on there, and of all the millions of drum and bass artists that are so much better than I am, or just well known and recognized, I get 55th on Mixcloud, which is so great. Which is great. It's not it's not number one, but 55 out of a million.
It's in there, and it's testament to the fact that you just do things the right way. You know how to promote yourself, and you not making a big song and dance about it, just do it, getting it done, doing it the right way, and people end up hearing it, and because the quality of it is good, it gets out there. So, that's what I've always sort of known about you, is you're sort of low key, actually doing things and making things happen. And it's a lot of the stuff that you do, it just in terms of sort of people's conversations, the day-to-day life goes a little bit unnoticed. But actually, if you talk about the amount of people that are listening to your music, it's quite a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you, man. I just put a lot of love into it, and I just try and keep my head down and look forward and just do me. And that's the thing, is I've been ghost producing and helping with DJing on albums and sound effects and samples for years, since the 90s. And I never really needed credit. Sometimes I had to sign a contract for some of the stuff that that I would never get any credit for it, for ghost producing and stuff like that. But this one is like, I want to do it myself. This is me, like all in my rawness, like everything that I've learned, and let me dump it into one. I tried to do it on the last time. There's actually a prequel to this, but I didn't have as much control, the recording and everything, and the people we were working with, they just weren't as available, even though I love them, Clutch Gang.
It was a very good time. I mean, obviously it was a terrible thing, but it was, for something like this, and for someone like you who is very busy, to have a bit of time to devote it to something like this, there's been obviously it was terrible, but there's been a lot of good to come out of what happened over the last couple of years, because people's schedules are all kind of like shook up, and people who kind of work well in that kind of chaos did a lot of stuff, like actually made some stuff happen, and this is a perfect example of it.
A lot of creativity came out during that time, because a lot of people were just locked up doing nothing, and so they spent that time, and they spent it wisely, and they got creative.
Yeah, we were on a run, man. We were on a really good run with the band, and we were actually touring with Modest Yahoo and Slightly Stupid for that Florida run right before COVID hit.
Oh right, yeah.
And that was right, I guess, when the band broke up right after that, shortly, but not really broke up, but we just went on hiatus on our own separate paths to do this. But
I like that there's a Space Coast Ghost thing on the back there.
Yeah, that's Space Coast Ghost, believe it or not, the Blackberry Sky track was supposed to be a Space Coast Ghost track. It was going to be like our hip hop breakout, like kind of music video thing that me and Noah were going to do, and it was fun.
I know Noah's in the time I know, it was headed more and more and more that direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we always want to do that, but bands members clash. It was like always turn down the DJ and turn up the rock and roll, and we were kind of like done with that. We wanted to kind of expand our horizons upon that, and I mean, I'm not saying that's the downfall of where the band really kind of broke apart, but I don't believe that Space Coast is ever going to be truly over with. I think it's just on hiatus right now, because the idea and the concepts and everything we were doing on there, we just had so many good things. I actually have a song that I'm just waiting to release, but I haven't because of drama and stuff like that. I spent a lot of money and time in the studio on it, and it's like one of our greatest songs, "A Journey."
Right.
And written by Rocky Rucker. He originally wrote came up with the concept, and we all put into it and everything, and we ended up everything. When we broke off. There was some bad love there, and I had full control over whether or not it got released or not. I decided not to do it. After we had already said we were going to, kind of like, but out of respect, if Rocky's listening, I know hopefully he will. I love him to death.
We've got him coming on the show in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, there's honestly bad blood, and I wanted to bring it up tonight because hopefully he'll watch this. But Rocky, if you're listening, I love you, buddy. Always have. There's never been a bad moment other than, just want you to come out and reach out and talk, and, hopefully you're doing good and stuff like that. And I thank you for everything. connected me with this guy especially.
Right.
Because I don't think I would know you if it weren't for Rocky.
Yeah, for sure. I would know a lot of people if it wasn't for Rocky. There was a period of time when he was bringing a new person into the studio every day.
Yeah.
He was living at my house, which is something that...
we had this conversation last week.
Yeah, something that Hector loves is that so many of my stories end up with me going, oh, he was living at my house at the time.
Every week there's a story that starts out with, so this guy was living on my couch.
Yeah. But anyway, Rocky was there. He was there a lot of the time. He wasn't like solely there, but he was over my house all the time. We were in a bit of a bromance. We're doing this whole kind of studio thing together. And he introduced me to Tyler Giddens. He introduced me to all sorts of people. And
you guys were making magic over there. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was good times. Cool. I think that at this point in my life, I'm not a huge fan of having loads of people in my house all the time. I didn't realize how much stress it was putting on me. And so I think if I was going to do something like that again, I'd go move it out of the house. And in fact, I'm coming to work here at Live Music Community as soon as I get back from England. So I'm going to be starting around sort of the 5th, 6th, 7th of July. And, I'm looking forward to possibilities of recording, here. Obviously, it's a music school, and the priority is the kids and the bands and stuff like that. But there's also space here and facility here for recording bands, and I think that's the direction that this place could go in a little bit more. And because I love recording bands, I just found this because
you're good at it.
It's so exciting. All the different possibilities, and just making people sound the best they can. It's very time consuming, but it's also very rewarding in the end. Yeah, I just found it a little bit too much, I think, just to have in my house all the time,
It was good though. It's good to have a one in your house. I've done that recently, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I love my little station in there, but that's for me. It's not for bringing in bands and stuff like
exactly.
that.
I like it to do. I've worked now. It's like an office, and I've done a lot of audio work in there, but it's like stuff I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I miss your dogs.
Yeah, shout out to Molly and Nina.
Well, let's get.
I wrote a song. I wrote a song for you guys last night with JT. We were in the studio all night, and we put together a song. And then we got these guys coming out, and they're gonna rap over some of it, freestyle.
Yeah, whatever. 2 weeks notice, right?
Literally, we made it last night. Yeah. But 2 weeks notice. I didn't have any time besides last night to really work on anything. So I was like, let me do this, and we made a beautiful track. I love it.
Yeah, let's check it out.
We'll check it out. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm going to tell you a delightful story.
Now, I want you to make yourselves comfortable and settle back. Now, are you all ready? Here we go.
First part of it goes like this. It goes like this. It goes like this. It goes like this. It goes like this.
Yeah. We are 2 weeks notice. Yo. 2 weeks. Always deep, never sleep. It's only right that we doing it like this. All natural bold leaf. Gold teeth shining through the 5%, vibing in cold streets. Picture team meetings, we eating in pure time. Said group is straight up off the sizzle fish view from the bird's eye. Jack Herrera mixed with AK, top it off with the sugar wax. Got the green smacking like the weird kid at lunch eating booger snacks. What can I say? The guard keep refined taste, Columbia Crest, Merlot, H Parmesan and Galsberg. That's how I flow. Can't call it bragging if I'm bagging blocks about the stove. Big business. My ride or die slide by my side of common vision. Still call the plays, y'all. I'm Rod Strickland. Damn. Remain focused in a strange ocean. Rope a dope the lanes, trying to change the game with the same tokens. It's 2 weeks creeping deep. Leave your brain open.
Forever plus some clotted arteries and all. No pause and no stalls. The two in harmony.
The way it ought to be.
Divine alignment of astronomy. It's no cap, all facts, no breaks and all gas. We let the guards lay the format. We keep it pure. You're the white getting stomped out like doormats. Best to stick to the shit that you did before rap. Forecast is hazy, bars like cold fronts.
Give the haters brain freeze.
2 pigeons in the pot gon' brazen. A couple biscuits on our side with the gravy feeling like Dirk in the 80s, wading deep into this monsoon. Tired of they cartoons, Kyoza with the Ponzu. mind, body, spirit. We final frontierin', but fuck appearances, I'm not trying to hear it. This is merely attempts to move next. Extend and flex what we do best, cause the two's next.
Shout out to my man Beat Thief.
Beat Thief, he's knee deep.
561 music.
Yeah.
Good recording on a good recording on a good recording on a good recording on a good
Little lush love.
recording on a good recording.
Feeling the vibe, a couple of highlights in. I'm kind of ready now. Should be pounding one right now, honestly. I'm like ready for like numbers 4 and 5 right now.
Sound.
If you home with a nice bottle of Chardonnay, why don't you go and crack that for your lady? Pour up a nice glass. Okay.
Used to be a skinny guy starting to grow a gut. Used to be sane until the day my girlfriend drove me nuts. I opened up, now I'm coconuts.
It's true.
Life's getting hot, and maybe I just needed something cold to touch. Cause feeling old and such, it's getting old, it sucks. Now every brew I open up, it's just another dude who knows what's up. Working days just to drink nights, and all the other shit that it entails. And never think twice, just riding on the hopes to come down to have a little mercy. Come to think, the only time I felt I wasn't worthy. Still thirsty, another sip is just a sip, but just a bit to get me by. These are the days of our lives. No surprise with what the barkeeper's bringing us.
None.
Let's have a toast to the gods and what they probably think of us. It's funny how we all wish for something and don't pray for it. The winning numbers every day, we never play for it.
Before my eyes slip, get the OE sip. Word to Kendrick, swimming pools, take a dip. Dive deep, 100 proof with the juice. Loose, feeling like the cup be my noose, but don't sweat. My mind moves when the gear's wet. Some more shots, what you hear next? Lubricated, no infatuation. Cherry colored rum poured out for libations. I ain't trying to find a statement, I drink lick till I can't stand. Man in the mirror about to catch these damn hands. What a sham, feel 100 grand when I'm off the whiskey. Here now, but you might miss me. Cut the shades when I'm feeling iffy. Another day, another dollar, who the fuck with me? Yo, cut the shades when I'm feeling iffy. Another day, another dollar.
Hell no.
Another day, another dollar.
Don't.
Another Monday, another dollar.
Don't spend that last dollar.
Another Tuesday, another dollar. Another Wednesday, another dollar.
Thursday,
Can you holla?
Thursdays mean $2, but that's Thursday. $2 holla.
Holla, holla. Yeah.
Yo, shout out the motherfucking beat thief. Excuse my language, but man, this man is really
snapping.
Ready to do a whole ballroom dance to this. Ready to get my groove going.
Hey.
Just saying.
Okay, now there it is. Okay, now there it is. Now dance your hat off, kid. Okay, now there it is. Okay, now there it is. Okay, now there it is. Go dance your pants off, kid. Go dance your pants off, kid. Go dance your pants off, kid. Let me see a little skirt.
Can we do no pants in this?
Let me see like a little someone nice. Give me a little. Give me a nice little. Ooh. Okay. Oh,
I'm not a b-boy.
We do not condone that.
I'm ready to groove.
We don't condone that. But we'll let it slide because we're live. JT Def Adept made this beat last night, spent hours working on it just for this occasion. So we're going to let the first bit of it ride. They killed this beat. They're going to let the first bit of this ride, and then we are going to be blessed enough to spit some bars on this for y'all.
Thank you.
And then we're going to get out of here.
Yeah, I guess that's it. We got
that's it for us. We hope y'all had a good
things to see people
time.
to do, you know.
Thanks so much to everybody.
We gotta roll around.
We are 2 weeks notice one more time.
This is that like once you've had like one too many vodka sodas at the club and it's just going. It's like really, you know what I mean? Like it's like you like know that like you shouldn't order another, but you did anyway, and you're like, all right, so like I guess we're stuck. Like I was supposed to go home at like 5, Tuesday. But it is 5, so I guess you're already late. And that's a Tuesday. That's just like
Tuesday.
It's already too late to make it.
You gotta love it. Nature is healing.
Yo,
let's go.
I'm from the glades where it rains often, and homeless cats ask for change for the drugs that brainwash them. My senses, they ain't common. Only a few steps beyond to walk the lines and razor blades margins. Mind games that play a part in. We our own worst demons. We don't worship Mother Earth, and we don't mold search neither. This the paradise of parasites, the sanctuary for the sacrilegious. The storms are annual and cataclysmic. There's plenty rags to riches, but there ain't as much rags and riches. Only the broke brat they business. A lot of dudes rapping, most of them are whack with it. While I flow like draft Guinness, say it with your chest, throw my back in it. I'll keep it short like I'm asthmatic, but if the world wants smoke, I'll give them Cloud Atlas. Searching for the keys and you'll find madness. The facts deceive the compass, the maps are cumbersome. The graphs, the cartographics, I'm the master of the art of rapping. I'll snatch a mic or autograph it, sincerely God. P.S. you rappers are the practice, but if everybody could rap, there wouldn't be enough fans. So best to hear y'all chant while you screaming from the stands. Drunk phonetic, that's the handle. The friend labs the can, so come on, throw up your hands while we giving your women cramps. Listen, man, I'm leaving shit in your pants. Dig in the sand like you're sniffing the grand, chilling, getting a tan. Whipping sedan, steady land yachts, old school dunks with Carreras on my face, seasoned like your fucking grandpa.
Whoa, it's all good until it wasn't though. Talk is all cheap, sweet butter loaf. Heater out the oven dough. Broward in the spot you couldn't come alone. East side Thunderdome, take you with the undertow. Get your props, kitchen whip it, slip the cops. Swear to God the time is tight. Around and kiss your watch. Kerosene hit the flame. One more game, what's the name? 6 card, move back, stand tall or fall the same. Yeah, stand tall or fall the same. Yeah. Mind, body, spirit, hear it rearing from the other room. Gold doubloon, spoon fed into the dead. Blood from a stone and water from a parched throat. Highlights the long slopes, miscues and songs wrote. Bathroom psyche crash nightly. Just another statistic, this America. Somebody always gotta lose, your dipshit is business.
Yo, it's business.
2 weeks.
2 weeks notice, baby.
Shout out to all of y'all for sticking in.
Yo, thank you. You got a lot coming for you.
Much love for y'all. Find us everywhere music is around.
Yo, Spotify,
Beat Thief,
Bandcamp, iHeartRadio. I don't even know anybody uses
everywhere.
iHeartRadio. So we do, we're there.
The local farmers market, we're out there, bro.
All of it.
We're
Apple
out there,
Music.
bro.
You can come in after 4 points. I don't
Look
even
for
know
us.
if there's still a standing 4 points market in South Florida.
Look for us.
But
We're
you
there.
used to get your Bazooka Joe and all your fishing tackle at the 4 points. I guarantee you the tweets out of state with your name on it. So go find it.
We out here. Thanks again so much to
Big love
everybody
to
involved.
fucking
Big up
Look
to
at this
Beat
fucking.
Thief.
Yo,
Killing
hold on.
it.
Just look at my man though. Just look at my man. Oh, and 6 to save the day. Yo, he be out here. Yo, this is posted. We posted now.
That's teamwork. Making that dream work.
Oh, my man. See, like, hip-hop equivalent of, like, licking the guitar strings to run your riff.
Funky.
I can't even operate a calculator. This man's out here looking. You making us look bad. Yo, Big Bless, 2 weeks notice. 2021 coming soon, baby.
This show is sponsored by Handlebars Bar and Grill. It is a biker bar up in Tequesta, in right on the line there between Palm Beach County and Martin County on US 1. And it's a project that my father-in-law, Peter Pinello, he is really the driving force behind it. But a lot of people in the community and me as well have been helping getting it back on its feet. We've done a lot of work up there. It was called Judy's before, and it was a local haunt, and it's slightly fallen into disrepair. And that's an understatement. It had fallen into disrepair. So we fixed it up, and you know, that was no small order. There was a lot of work to be done there, but we kept the vibe. You know, we wanted it to carry on being a biker bar. So we have it doesn't even really have, you know, huge parking for cars, but obviously anyone's welcome. And when we do bigger events, the people next door to us let cars park there. So if you want to come for a bike night or something like that, and you are not on a motorcycle, there is parking for you on those ones. But it's great. You get to see all sorts of interesting vehicles there. When I was playing there on Sunday, 2 people pulled up in these really neat rat rods, and so it's definitely a place for enthusiasts of all things kind of shiny and motorsport like. So you should come and check it out. And even if you're not into that kind of thing, we have live music on Sunday afternoons, and we're moving our Saturday afternoon music to the evening now. It's going to be 7 to 10 instead. I don't know exactly sure when that's starting, but it's going to be soon. And every second Thursday of the month, we have a bike night, and that's from 6 to 9. And that's always a blast. We've had Sons of a Tradesman who've been on the podcast. They played it. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. This one coming up is going to be on Monday Band, but we're always looking for that's Terry Ferraro. Shout out Terry if you're listening to this. That was that's her band, and they play a whole load of sort of good kind of bike night classics. Sure. a lot of good sturdy, hearty rock and roll. It's a lot of fun, and you could come and check it out. We're open every day of the week. Come swing by and have a beer. We got food in there, and
I was going to ask you got food?
Yeah. And the new chef
really good
is
food.
great. The food's great in there now. And Jamie behind the bar is she works almost every day, and she's a lot of fun. She's cool. Come and have a chat with her. And that's Handlebars Bar and Grill. Check it out. www.handlebars/bar/and/grill.com. All right, so that was really great music that you were playing there. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So
who are the MCs?
The MCs. Well, to be honest with you, you kind of dropped this in my lap last minute.
Yeah.
So you were like, "Do you want to feature some MCs?" But Ari Gross, Six Cardinal is what you would normally look him up on online for. He's an amazing artist. Yeah. He was also on the Blackberry Sky on this album. He was the first one that jumped off on that beat.
And their crew's called 2 Weeks Notice. Is that
2 Weeks
right?
Notice. Yeah. No, they've they do they live in 2 different states, so they're working across the line. But they've got some big projects, very, very cool old school style. You get that vintage kind of hip hop feel,
I enjoyed their back and forth. I enjoyed their sort of comedy kind of. Back and forth.
It's
It was
good.
cool.
You should see the live act. When we just freestyled that whole thing.
Yeah.
So like I said, I wrote that beat last night, last minute with JT. But the rest of the song, we've got DJ Cam and DJ Food, believe it or not, were those other beats that I was running. But with the scratch and samples, I make my own battle wax.
Yeah, cool.
Digitally. So now it's not back in the day where you have to press it on vinyl. You can do it inside of the computer, which is great. But I make my own and I master my own, samples and all that stuff.
Awesome.
I pull them from old vinyl mostly.
Yeah.
I try to keep that. Sound there, so you still hear it.
I know, it's nice, isn't it?
I have a whole track of it. I put it in a lot of background of music and stuff. When I make it.
I do remember when you used to get those vinyls, the DJ Craze and people like that used to bring them out where it's just sounds,
Yeah, the battle wax.
Yeah, so awesome. I love those things. I used to have a few of those.
I've got a million of them.
I bet. I'd love to come and check your vinyl out one of these days.
I've got a crazy vinyl collection. It's got weird eclectic stuff.
I can imagine.
I actually and just recently inherited from a friend of a friend, but a whole cabinet full of just old school 1920s, 1930s Cuban music.
Oh yeah,
on vinyl.
That's awesome.
And I haven't even had a chance to go through it yet. But samples galore, sound effects, trumpets, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's crazy stuff. Pretty awesome. Yeah. I grew up on that.
I haven't even started to get and dive into it.
Records and stuff like that with the old Cuban bands and things like that.
I love the vinyl, man. I've got a couple of turntables that I haven't even pulled out yet, but they're the old Denons that have the vinyl platter, but they take CDJs, and they're actually the first digital real crossovers that were made. They're made really, really well. So. I'm going to dive into those, and that's going to be my next thing on the looping station. I'm going to be scratching and looping the scratches. So I'll be and then loop that, and then scratch. And
my vinyl collection is so extensive. I have, I think, 7, maybe 8 vinyl albums.
Okay, so what's your favorite?
Pink Panther.
No, it's it's funny. I had a bunch of vinyl. I got rid of it, and I have I have a couple of good ones. I have Meet the Beatles. It's an original. It's an original U.S. release of one of the Beatles' first albums or whatever, and I've got an Abbey Road, but then I just have, and I don't know why, but I just have
Fallout Boy, right?
No,
Or
no, like something
that?
worse than that. I've got like the Weird Science soundtrack on vinyl.
That's pretty awesome.
What are you talking about? I would die for that album.
And I've got like this.
My creation.
I've got like this picture book. It's a 45, and it's this picture book, and then it's the Star Wars Episode 4, like the first Star Wars movie, on 45, and then so you play it, and you flip the page on the book, and you follow along the book. Every time R2D2 does his like doot 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 doot, you know that you got to turn the page.
book. Yeah,
my kids found that
nice.
one day. They're like, "Dad, why do you have this?" I'm like, "Shut up, no, just don't tell anybody."
See, I'm a vinyl junkie. I'm the kind of guy that will I'll go into a record store and be like, okay, where's the back? Do you have a back? You know, like where's all the old weird obscure stuff?
Where's
like
the stuff that you don't want to sell?
I want samples, man. I want
And I've
samples
got,
talking.
another
like,
weird
whatever.
one I have: Richard Pryor on vinyl.
Oh yeah,
I
You got some
love
good
that one.
vinyl.
That's a good
it's
one.
weird.
Yeah.
It's
I have
just
that
weird,
too.
a couple
Which
weird
one?
ones.
I think he's got like two or three of them.
I don't even know which
You
one
don't
this
know?
is, but yeah, it's.
I want to say the record that made the biggest impression on me in the last 5 years is that last David Bowie album. I've got that on vinyl, and that's
I
where
know what you have on vinyl too.
Yeah.
You have Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Love, the last one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good album.
What is it? The one that they just made? Oh God, it's not the Love album. That was the one before. But
Right.
the last.
I embarrassingly can't remember what it's called.
Well, it was an amazing album. I remember when
Yeah.
it came out. Me and you had a lot of words about it, and actually, it inspired me to help create this one too. It was-
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. But I want to work with you on an album. I would like to
Yeah.
get with you and us at least pick your harmonica brain because I want to do a harmonica. I've been dying to do a harmonica country kind of hip hop like funk, just boom.
That would be
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we should get like a banjo-y kind of sort of backwoodsy kind of
Electronica banjo.
jam going.
I had a really good idea for a band name that we said on Facebook the other day. David Shaw, something. You made a post, and what was the name of that fucking band that we were going to call it? You said something. You were going to do something, and I named the band. It was the perfect band in the whole world. You said you were going to do like crossover, like country, but wear like overalls or something. Do you remember that post?
I don't, and all it is reminding me of is the conversation we had in the back of Propaganda about moonshiners.
We also had, what was it? The Florida Man Band.
Oh, there
Remember
you go.
that?
Yeah.
Florida Man, he's Florida Man. Bang, 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 bang. We all have washboards and buckets. We're just like, yeehaw!
Florida Man Band should be a thing for sure.
But we
yeah.
do old hip hop, but country.
The weird
like,
thing about when
funky stuff.
Dan has an idea, it's usually a good one and it should be listened to. I'm wondering whether we should change the name of Killbillies to Florida Man.
No, well, think about the content all day long. All you have to do is Google it, you know?
Yeah.
What did Florida Man do today? You know, like you just Google it. Well, let's write a song about that, you know?
Yeah,
The lyrics
yeah.
are all right there. You just got to put them and
That's
rearrange
funny.
them.
Absolutely. Okay, so the next thing that we do on the show is we take a look at people's gear, and so you brought your Pioneer CDJs in.
DDJ SX. Yeah, I believe this is the one.
Oh, cool! Oh, there it is.
There you
Look.
go. It's up on
Can you
the
tell
screen
us a
now.
little bit about it for people who are uneducated about this kind of thing?
First
A
of all,
whole lot of knobs and buttons,
Oh,
man. That's
man.
all I know.
well, first of all, for the old school vinyl junkies and a lot of people that are, what you want to say, they're purists or whatever. Just so you know, there's nothing you can do on turntables that I can't do better on this thing.
Right.
I love vinyl to death and I'll use it all day, but I can wreck shop with this. And this thing has been around probably over 1,000 shows all
Yeah.
across America, probably in different countries as well. As you can see from the dirt buildup and everything, the buttons are falling off. Sometimes we'll be in front of 1,000-person crowd and I'll be scratching and then a button just, and I can just see it. I'm just like, no, at attention. There goes another knob. All right, so
Yeah, you did a little bit of it in the performance, but I've seen you do it in Space Coast Ghost as well, where you kind of hold it like a guitar and scratch on it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then the cord it gets loose. So yeah. But no, basically, it's a sampling machine. It's 4 turntables in one all at once if you want to. You see those levels there from left to right. There's 4 different channels, and you can turn those turntables on each side, those turnstiles, into their own deck, across the way times 4.
Right.
So, and then, you build your own cue points on each side. So if you have your samples, your acapellas, you can put them there and you sample them, But the cue, what I love the most is the pitch. The pitch is really, I kind of created my own kind of scratch from that. It's almost proprietary, I like to call it. But what I do is I put a plus 50 on the pitch.
Yeah.
And then I turn off the pitch lock. So
Right.
then I have full gear and I can change the the key.
Yeah,
So
sure.
literally, I can replicate what people do on a guitar.
Yeah, you play melodies.
Absolutely, yeah. So by pushing a button, it's just like you're strumming, and then you move it, and you've got your different chords, and then you add your effects, and now you got your pedal, So I eventually want to break this down because I will gonna get new ones, but I want to take this apart and put it into a raw guitar shell.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
And rewire it, MIDI work it, and process and make it how I want to. Yeah. So the guitar riff would be the pitch. So one big sliding pitch right here,
Right, yeah.
And then the turnstile here, and then a couple buttons where I can do my cue points along the side.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But I just got to sit down with an engineer, but I want to be able to get up and really shred with the guys, but I'm always stuck behind the turntables.
Yeah.
But it's a really well-made product. It runs with Serato, but you can use anything else like Tractor or whatever program you really want to if you want to dive in.
Yeah. Do you have a preference? Like I know back in the day, my friend Simon, and shout out if you're listening to this, he was a Serato guy, and I think he still is. Is there? What's the? Are there any that are better and worse? Like which one?
It's all Tool.
Right. Yeah.
Man, whatever you really want to.
Yeah.
Give me a washboard and a rubber band, and I'll play something funky for you.
Out.
But I love Serato. Just it's digital platform. When the touch when I'm scratching and stuff like that. Now, if I was using time coded vinyl, I think I might probably switch more towards Tractor because I've heard that they have better. But now that was 3 or 4 years ago. I'm sure that the technology, they keep up to date and they move it up. And there's all types of new stuff. They have this one new laser. You just set it on top of the turntable. You don't even need it's just like a laser that, you can use any vinyl. You know what I mean? So the technology is crazy. I'm all about the technology. Bring it on, but I also like to bring up my old reel-to-reel. I have tape cassette players that I use with old like Halloween tapes and stuff that I like to incorporate sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I like the analog, and you can't let it go because it does bring a certain sound. But
For sure.
100%.
Digital's the way to go, man. When it comes to this new DJ stuff, man, they got it down. The Seratos are great. Pioneer's the best, though. When it comes to equipment, buy Pioneer.
Right.
I will say that all day long. Okay. And shout out to Pioneer.
There you
I've
go.
been trying to get them to sponsor me for a while. I tag them in a lot of stuff.
We'll tag them. We'll tag them for
one
you.
day. One day. Once they see what I do with their turntable, and they pick it up and throw it, and then crowd. I remember one time we were at Propaganda, and Zach Johnson came up, and we put it on his back, and I was walking around the crowd with scratching on his back. Everyone from Peter Dante to and Modest Yahoo has touched that, the turnstile and stuff, So
that's awesome.
A lot of famous people have given love to it.
Yeah, man. It's got a soul of its own, like a good guitar.
It really does.
No doubt, man.
I've had to turn down a couple gigs with it because it was cutting out. I had a horrible sound guy one day, and he crammed those XLRs in the back, and it bent one of the rims in the thing, so I had to go in there and fix it.
It happens, man. That it's testament to Pioneer's build quality that's lasted this long, to be honest. So, it's been such a pleasure having you. It's been really, really awesome. Next week we've got Butch and the Fat Dudes. What we're doing next week is we're gonna record 2 because I'm going out of the country.
Yeah.
So we're going to record 2. We're going to record Butch and the Fat Dudes, but we're also going to record one with Rocky. And we're going to release that. The next week, if you want to peer behind the curtain, the transparent curtain, we're going to record 2 next week.
Nice.
So if there's nothing, if like aliens land and we don't mention it on the show, that's why. Because we're recording 2 on the same week.
And aliens are going to land now.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, they're landing and nobody cares.
Right.
It's like, whatever.
There's been so many shows about it. It's like, finally.
Isn't it funny?
We've been prepping for this.
The government finally admitted at some point that there was UFOs, and everybody was like, "Oh, okay," but COVID.
Yeah, they're like, so what else you got?
Well, we already knew that.
Yeah, nothing could shock us at this point, right?
Yeah. So next week, Butch and the Fat Dudes, and then
Amazing.
That'll be the one that'll be released next week. Then we're also going to record Rocky next week and release it the following week.
Yeah.
And the following week we're going to record Sally Fox Maple.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sally Maple Fox. She's going to kill me for
Sally
that
Maple
one.
Fox.
Sally Maple Fox. Yeah, I believe so. Fox and Foes.
Sally.
Sally in the alley.
She's
Sally's
gonna
coming on
smack
the
me
show.
for that one. Anyways, well, I'll get it right by the time I do the show. But anyways, that one will be recorded the following week, and you'll actually be on holiday.
I'll be on
And
holiday.
so we're actually going to
I'll
get
be living it up in the big
James
UK.
James Galliano from Butch and the Fat Dudes is going to come in and sit in and
Killbillies.
and he'll be our second chair for hosting that week.
Yeah, exactly.
And then our shameless Killbillies plug for the week.
Yeah, man.
We are on Friday. Well, we're playing Thursday, but by the time people hear this, it'll be Friday. So Friday we're playing at Brick and Barrel Abacoa, and Saturday, Ben, you're doing solo. I believe from like noon to 3 or something.
Yeah, it's an early one up at Ocean Republic Brewing. So you know, if you guys have never been to Ocean Republic Brewing, it's in Stewart on US 1. A really cool little place. Seems like not a Florida place, and kind of in a good way. It's very sort of stark. It's got good art on the walls. Feels like a kind of trendy like student bar in like the UK or something. It didn't. When we played there the first time, I was like, wow, this is refreshing. It's a cool place, you know.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to playing there. I always like playing there.
Yeah, and Brick and Barrel at Abacoa on Friday night is that's always a good time.
Yeah,
There's
no doubt.
Always a good crowd there and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know,
They do great cocktail. If you're a cocktail
Yes.
person, if you're really into your mixed drinks, you should definitely come down to Brick and Barrel because David is an expert with that stuff, and he has very well trained staff, and they do some really interesting stuff. They do this thing where they kind of smoke wood and infuse bourbon with it and things like that. They do some really cool stuff with the drinks there, and the food is great.
I didn't realize that they did that. And the last time we were there, I said to the guys, every time we're here, it smells like our gear is like burning. Like I smell something burning. I kept thinking that like one of our PA speakers was burning up, and then finally James is the one who's like, no man, they like do the wood burning for the bourbon over there. I'm like, oh. But anyways, yeah, Brick and Barrel, Abacoa, they have really really good food too. So,
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, yeah, man. So
All right, well, thanks for coming on.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and
bro.
it's another one in the can, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff.
Check it, better seen. It's what we're doing. Come and check it.